Hello, good evening and welcome back to the channel Up the Reds TV with me, Andy Canby. So this is the Brentford preview one and following Arne Slot's press conference. So let's get down to it, shall we? Okay, he was asked about injuries to the squad. Obviously Joey's still out, but Jota's got a niggle and he said he probably would not be available for the Brentford game away. Now, that's a bit of a shame, really, because we just got him back up to speed, haven't we? I certainly wanted him to start in this game down the middle, and it looks like it's not going to happen unless something miraculous happens with that. So he said that he just felt something, and he came in and did a session on his own, but he said he's not seen him today. That was at the press conference this morning at 9:15, and he would just see what would happen there. He was asked a question about the table and how tight it's getting, and he said, look, we don't look at the table. I'm sure he has looked at the table, but it's a typical coaches stroke managers comment that we don't look at the table, we just focus on the next game, which is the Brentford one. So yeah, he is fully focused on that game, and he will see how that pans out. He said, we're trying to get the best out of the players, and the players are trying to get the best out of themselves in this hectic period. He said that Brentford are a good team at home, and they are. They score lots of goals, but they do give you chances. I mean, Nottingham Forest gave us chances in the second half, but we just didn't bury them. He said, look, it is what it is, the Premier League. You play this time of the year, you're playing midweek, weekend. He was asked if that was going to take a toll on the players, and he said no. He said because we've primed them from pre-season and we've given them individual programs, what they need to do. And he said, look, 80% is the similar programs what they do, but some others have different ones. So he's really in the mindset, isn't he, of using a small squad. He's on by the sounds of that. He said, look, we prepare the players to get them ready for the game, whether it be in midweek or at weekend. And he said, and in some cases, some players will get rested. By that, I think he means like the FA Cup game against Accrington, where virtually all the squad was rested, bar Trent and yeah, so he said there will be a period during the course of the season where some of those players will get rested. And about tiredness, he something that was interesting what he said. He said, look, the team is prepared. We don't moan about if it's a 12:30 kickoff or whatever, or where we have to go after coming back. We just prepare the lads the best we can. So that was good. He was asked about Darwin Núñez struggling in front of goal, and he said, look, strikers go through this barren patch. He said, and other players go through the barren patch as well. So it's it was interesting, his comments, and he said that he's a good striker, he works hard off the ball, and he's sure that the goals will come for him. Well, if that's the case, he needs to show it this weekend if he's going to get a starting berth after coming back from suspension midweek. He said, look, Cody Gakpo's doing okay. Diaz has done okay, probably not as much from down the middle, but he said Cody's in good form, so it looks like he's got his pick out of those two who plays on the left, and it's Cody Gakpo at the moment. And he said, look, Mo has only scored one pen in the last 3 games. That's his goal tally, and obviously he's a goal machine. I was interested in assertion of that as well about Mo. He said that the buck doesn't stop with the strikers. You know, you need goal scorers from all over the place. He was asked about, interestingly, about how many goals we've conceded lately and not had a clean sheet. Is it in 7 games? Ironically, isn't that when Ali came back? And Ali shipped in 15 goals in, well, I say he, the team has. But yeah, I was looking at some of those goals today that from the games that he's played in. Could he have done better? Possibly in 3 or 4 he could have done, but none of the others. The others were just silly mistakes by the outfield players. But we won't go into names of who they were and when it happened. It's gone now. It's a clean sheet. Hard to come by for us. You know, we've not had many apart from at the beginning of the season. Now we're a bit leaky at the back and missing chances up front, which has to stop pretty urgently for me, because we do need to get back to winning ways. I said that I would take a horrible 1-0 at Nottingham Forest. It didn't happen. It was a horrible 1-1 draw. We know that Brentford score goals, especially at home, and they will be at you 24/7 hours at the Brentford game at Anfield, and we were very good, very, very good. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if we can get something out of the game. We are the leaders, but is it a patchy, not a rough patch, but it's a bit patchy, isn't it? You know, we're not losing games, but we're not winning them either, and we should be taking more control from the onset. So yeah, look, he also touched on how, again, for the second press conference, he also touched on how teams are now, you know, fighting for their lives come the second half of the season. So everybody's fighting for points and getting up the league table. And obviously Liverpool have to just keep on doing the business they can. They can't afford to look at anybody else but ourselves when it comes to that, for that matter. Team. Obviously, Ali in goals, Trent. This is an interesting one for me. Does he start with Ibu and Verge? I'd put Tsimikas left back because I thought Robbo had a very indifferent game against Forest during the week, although he was rested. But yeah, he or does he play Ryan Gravenberchs at centre half? I thought we were better when he went to centre half, and Curtis Jones went into midfield. I thought we were a bit more solid, and that's where the most chances were coming. But Ryan was reading the game pretty well. I mean, he did get a lot of stick, I noticed on socials, of not having a good game for Liverpool, Ryan, and some assertions that he looked a bit tired. I had the opposite view on that. I thought he did okay in the first half, but he wasn't the only one that was getting overrun. But in the second half, I thought he was quite dominant, playing at the back and reading the game and getting attacks started. Yeah, so if it is going to be a boot, midfield has to be Maka. See if Dominic can give us another 60 minutes, and Ryan, and then obviously get Curtis Jones on. I thought Curtis did okay when he came on midweek, and we'll just have to see what pans out. Up front is going to be interesting. Does he gap on the left? Does he have Nunes or Diaz down the middle and Mo on the right hand side? Or does he change it to Diaz on the left, Nunes in the middle, or Mo? But he did say in his press conference that Cody's having a really good season, impact-wise. So yeah, I think he might choose him in that position. Score prediction. There'll be plenty of goals in it because we're leaking goals. I'd like us to win 3-1. I'd like us to keep a clean sheet, but I'm not so sure that's going to come. It would be a massive bonus if it would, but we're creating chances. We just need to take them. We need to be clinical in front of goal, and not be having wasteful shots from 20, 30 yards away like we were in the first 15 minutes of that game against Forest. So yeah, that's my team. Tell me your team. Is that right? Would you pick that team? Would you pick somebody else? Yeah, that's really our strongest team, and obviously the bench will be strong. I'd like Federico Chiesa to come on and get some minutes, in the Premier League. I don't think he's had any minutes, has he? Yeah, he has. I think he has. I'd like him to get some more minutes, in the Premier League. Get his confidence up. I mean, he is a clinical finisher. He had lots of chances again. I know it was only Accrington Stanley, but the opposition's going to be a bit more stronger in Brentford. Right, okay. Just one final thing I want to touch on. Spirit of Shankly, which not everybody likes them. Majority of us do. They put out a letter about this meeting that they're going to have with the club regarding ticketing prices. They want ticketing prices to be cut, not slashed, cut, put on hold. They've outlined why they want those prices to be lowered. One of the main reasons is that the heritage and the passion that comes from the Kop will kill that stand overnight if these prices being hiked up year in and year out. The club said that they would do dialogue, so something's going to happen. My personal opinion, you already know, is that we are not supporters to FSG. We are labelled as customers. We're not fans, we're labelled as customers. FSG is making record profits from us, but on the playing side, we've not seen any big ones coming of late. But just going back to the ticketing prices, it has to stop. I totally agree with the letter. Will it stop? No. I think FSG have become hardened to the Liverpool fan base, and I don't think they're going to stop. I think they're going to carry on, and they'll use other clubs as that talking point as well. As is it Brighton, Brentford? They haven't put their prices up. They've left them as they are. They know how important it is to get the community support into the club, but for some reason our owners now becoming a bit hardened now and becoming a bit Teflon. Nothing is sticking to them. If they're not going to listen, voices should be done from the stands. I've said this in a tweet I put out today. And by that I mean walking out the stand, walking out the ground, and just showing that, look, without supporters there's no football, and this ticketing malarkey has to stop. And let's get the locals in. I mean, I'm not a local, but I've been watching Liverpool for a very, very long time, and I've enjoyed every time I go up to Liverpool. But the letter that Spirit of Shankly have put out is right when it says about losing the vocal support. You're going to kill it. It's going to die overnight because fans can't afford to go to the game. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. Okay, if you like this video, please give me a like. If you're watching the video for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. This is all things Liverpool, and yeah, and share the video as well. Okay, enjoy the rest of your Friday evening, and I will speak to you tomorrow, not long after the game is finished. Up the Reds.